Alright, this is pt02 again, and this is part 2 of my Yamato VF-1S Valkyrie review. And in this part I'll be going over the transformation. So, the Valkyrie fighter jets actually have a, their transformation is a little more complex than you would think it is. I remember the old Takatoku the Valkyrie figures that came out back in the 80s had a very simple transformation. You could transform those guys in about 5 minutes, but these are a little bit more complex, but I think the end result is better because of it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see, first I'm going to unhinge the legs. They just kind of lock onto the underside of the plane, and I'm just going to pull those down. Go ahead and fold up the what will later become the backpack, and I'm just going to pull the legs down like that. The knees are going to bend backwards, and let's go ahead and pull these feet out. They just pull out like so and spread out, and you will notice that there are quite a few ratcheting joints in this figure, which I think is a good thing, because those are generally more stable than just a regular sliding joint. Raise this camera up and go ahead and bring the wings out a bit. And here comes the tricky part. The arms are the tricky part of this figure. And I have heard reports that these arms can be quite fragile, and the shoulder joint especially can be prone to breakage. Luckily, I haven't had that happen with mine yet, and I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen. So I'll just keep my fingers crossed as far as that goes. Anyway, the arms are going to come down like so, and this backpack is going to fold down, revealing some thrusters back here. The wings are out, and pretty much all we've got left to do are the hands. Now, all we have to do is flip this open, and the hands flip out like so. And there we go. Now we have transformed our fighter into Gerwalk mode. That wasn't so bad, was it? And this is definitely one of the more unique mecha designs that you'll see in an anime. And pretty much every Valkyrie unit from any Macross series you can think of will have this mode. And I don't know, I think that the fact that it was able to do 3 different modes is one of the many things that attracted me to Macross or Robotech in the first place, because I don't know, I saw this when I was watching the show when I was a kid, and I thought, my god, it's halfway between a plane and a robot. That's so cool. And I just thought it was really nice. Anyway, the hands are posable. The thumb goes up and down, and pretty much a lot like a master grade hand. We've got the index finger separate, and then these other 3 fingers are hooked together. And the wrist can rotate, and they've got a back and forth hinge, which seems to be a little bit loose in my opinion. I might need to tighten that up with some glue. The gun transforms. This end will slide out, and the handle will come down, and there you go. Pretty simple. And there's a peg in the hand that fits into a hole in the gun. Put that in there, close the fingers around the handle, and the gun is a little bit loose, admittedly. So you'll have to try and make sure to really get that peg in there and get those fingers closed up around the gun. But anyway, there we go. Like I said, the gun is a little bit loose in the hand. So, but that will be remedied because they do give us spare hands. Now, some of these Valkyrie action figures come with more hands. This VF-1S Roy Fokkers unit only comes with 2. It comes with a outstretched left hand, which is very nicely detailed actually, and a gun hand for the right hand. And this just comes out because it's on a peg, and then you replace it with the fixed pose hand, and it holds the gun much, much better. So, the weak hand issue is fixed. I'm glad that Yamato saw that ahead of time and included these extra hands with the figure. So, I think we've looked at Gerwalk mode long enough. Now let's look at Battroid mode. Alright, first we're going to have to unhinge the hips, which is another kind of tricky part. And they are going to swing out. Now this whole piece right here is die cast, so that's going to be a fairly strong joint, which is good because, as you can see, it's very, very thin. And then we're going to be sort of dislodging the front of the plane here. And out from under this armor piece right here, we're going to have a black piece of armor slide out with a skull and crossbones on it, and that's going to cover up the cockpit. And I really like the fact that it's, you know, inside the chest piece here, because on a lot of Macross figures, this armor piece will be separate and you'll have to add it on after you transform it. Let me raise this camera up a bit because this thing is getting taller. Alright, now here's the tricky part. It took me a while to figure this out when I first got the figure. On the back of the nose cone, there is a little door that opens up, and 2 of these little pegs just fold in. And then we've got to very carefully slide that hip joint down inside that little door, and then the whole thing is going to close and snap into place if I can get it lined up right. Actually, closing it isn't that hard. It's getting the hip joint lined up correctly is the hard part. Okay, there we go. And you should feel a sort of click when you get it in place. And then all that's left to do after that is rotate the head around, get the shoulders where they're supposed to be, and then fold the wings down. And at that point, I believe we have a fully transformed Battroid VF-1S. So I'm going to go ahead and end this part of the review and then come back for a part 3 where I will go over this guy's articulation and do another size comparison to the Perfect Grade Gundam. So I will see you guys next time.